Welcome back to another video. Another quiet journey into sleepy history. A story so gentle, you may not hear the end of it. So before we begin, take a moment to settle in. Let your body grow heavy. Let your jaw relax. Unclench your hands. And let your breath slow down. This is your time now. Nothing to do. Nowhere to be. Just listen. Tonight, we begin the long and curious tale of the toothbrush. The room is still now. The world is quiet, and your body is slowly settling in. No more rushing. No more screens. No more doing. Just the soft rhythm of your breath. And a gentle story, meant only to help you drift. Tonight, we begin a strange and sleepy journey. Not about something grand, not about something rare, but something small, familiar, and resting quietly in almost every bathroom. The toothbrush, you've held it in your hand. You've used it thousands of times. But have you ever wondered how it came to be? Let's go back now. Far back, before modern homes, before plastic and toothpaste, before the very idea of brushing. Let's begin where people first became people. In ancient times, long before writing, humans ate with their hands, slept on the ground, and slowly began to learn how to care for their bodies. They didn't have brushes, but they had teeth, and teeth wear down, rot, hurt. So what did they do? Archaeologists believe that even the earliest humans found ways to clean their teeth. They chewed on twigs, not to brush, but to scrape, to soften, to pick. Some trees had natural fibers. Others had astringent sap. Slowly, the idea began to form that something could be used to clean the mouth. Now, drift forward thousands of years. We arrive in ancient Babylon, about 3,500 years ago. Here, people used chewing sticks, thin, straight pieces of wood. They would chew one end until it became frayed, soft, like tiny bristles. Then they would rub it gently against their teeth. No paste, no mint, just wood and time. This practice spread to ancient Egypt, where tombs have been found, with tooth cleaning tools beside the dead, to China and India, where herbs and twigs were used not just to clean, but to freshen the breath. In India, people used twigs from the neem tree, still used today in many places. It's bitter, but antibacterial, a natural defense. In China, they used aromatic sticks, sometimes mixed with salt or powders. The goal was simple: scrape away the grime. Keep the breath pure. There were no brushes, but the idea of oral care had already begun. And think about that. Even thousands of years ago, before soap, before shampoo, before medicine, people were brushing, not for beauty, but for health, for comfort, and maybe for the soft, familiar feeling of a clean mouth before bed. Now, let your breath soften. Let your thoughts drift. We've only just begun this story. The toothbrush has much further to go. Through bone handles, bristles of boar hair, silk threads, and finally, the plastic handle in your bathroom today. The world was changing. Chewing sticks had served their time. But in a quiet corner of ancient China, something new was taking shape. People had begun tying coarse bristles onto handles of bamboo or carved bone. These bristles were made from the stiff hairs of wild boars. Tough, rough, and not gentle at all. But they worked, and for the first time, the brushing motion we know today was born. This tool did not look like your toothbrush. It was heavier, cruder, but it had a purpose. Scrub the teeth, freshen the breath, remove what the day had left behind. This early invention slowly traveled. It moved west, from China across Asia, reaching the Middle East by the 11th century. In Europe, the idea arrived much later. But something was happening. People began to think more about hygiene, about appearance, about health. And so, the toothbrush began to evolve. By the 17th century, tooth cleaning brushes began to appear in England. Imported, expensive, and only for the wealthy. They were often handmade, with handles carved from ivory or bone. The bristles were still animal hair, or bristles, usually, and because they were rough, they wore out quickly. They hurt the gums, but they were better than nothing. A luxury, a private tool, a small step forward. Then came a turning point. The year was 1780, and a man named William Addis, sitting in a jail cell in England, decided that rubbing a rag on his teeth was not good enough. So he took a small bone, drilled tiny holes into it, inserted bristles from a guard's broom, and glued them in place. It worked. When he was released, he began producing brushes just like it. This became the first mass-produced toothbrush. In Europe, the design was simple. A handle, bristles, function, and people bought them. The toothbrush had finally arrived. In the homes of ordinary people, it was not yet soft, not yet colorful, but it had a shape, a purpose, and night by night, people began ending their days the same way you do now, with a few quiet strokes and the feeling of a cleaner mouth. Before sleep, let your thoughts settle now. Let the story wash gently through you. The toothbrush is growing, changing, becoming more familiar with each passing year. And in the next part, it will transform again, not with boar bristles, but with something far softer. Nylon dreams and the modern brush. Time moves gently now, as it always does, when the body is at rest and the story is slow. The toothbrush has traveled far, from ancient twigs to bristled bone handles, from silent tombs in Egypt to small factories in England. And now, we arrive at a moment of quiet revolution. The year is 1938. The world is uncertain, but in one quiet corner of innovation, something soft is about to replace something rough. Until now, most toothbrushes still used bristles from animals. Wild boars mostly. Tough, unpredictable, hard to clean. But a new material had been discovered. Man-made, smooth, resilient. Nylon, created by the company DuPont. Nylon was first used in stockings, but someone saw another use for it. Toothbrush bristles. And so the world's first nylon toothbrush was born. It looked similar to earlier brushes, but the feel was different. The nylon bristles were softer. They dried quickly. They were cleaner. And for the first time, they were entirely synthetic. No animals, no guesswork, just clean, uniform threads, designed to care for the teeth. These brushes quickly grew in popularity. They were sold in shops, advertised in newspapers, and recommended by dentists. The world was changing, and the toothbrush was changing with it. Now, brushes came in different colors, different shapes, some for adults, some for children. People began to replace their brushes regularly. They were no longer treasures. They were tools, ordinary, reliable, everyday. And then, after World War II, something else began to change. In America, soldiers returned home, having been taught to brush their teeth twice a day during service. It had been a part of their training, routine, discipline, and when they came back, they brought that habit with them. The toothbrush was no longer a luxury. It became a standard, a normal part of daily life. Morning, night, 2 minutes. Every day, toothpaste improved. Brush handles were redesigned. Some brushes were angled. Some were curved. All made to reach just a little further, to clean just a little better. By the 1960s, a new idea was forming. What if the brushing was done for you? The first electric toothbrushes arrived. Large, buzzing, attached to walls. But they worked. They moved the bristles in small, rapid circles. They promised less effort, more results. Some people were skeptical. Others embraced it. Slowly, they improved. Smaller, quieter, rechargeable. And yet, even with all this technology, the toothbrush itself remained humble. A handle, bristles, a task, simple, reliable, soothing in its own quiet way. Tonight, as your head rests, you may think of your own toothbrush, standing quietly in its place, always there, twice a day, never asking for more. It is one of the few tools in your life that asks for no attention, no applause, and yet you trust it, as people did for centuries before you. Let your eyes grow heavier now. Let the thoughts slow. The toothbrush still has more story to tell. In the next part, we explore how brushes became personal, how design met identity, and how even something so small can be a part of who we are. But for now, you are safe, you are still, and your story is continuing. In dreams, colors, choices, and the brush that became yours. The world grew brighter, quieter, more connected, and the toothbrush continued its slow, steady evolution, not with dramatic change, but with small, thoughtful steps. The brush was no longer just a tool. It was becoming a personal item, something chosen, something trusted, a companion in the quiet moments. At the start and end of every day, children chose brushes in fun shapes, with cartoon characters, colors that made them smile. Parents taught them how to hold it gently, not to scrub, but to sweep, to care, not to rush. Adults chose brushes based on feel, on softness, on design. Some preferred slim handles. Others liked wider grips. Some wanted the quiet motion of an electric hum. Some wanted the simplicity of silence. There were brushes with timers, brushes with pressure sensors, brushes that lit up, some that buzzed every 30 seconds, telling you to move to a new corner of your mouth. Companies began to create brushes for every kind of person: sensitive gums, tight teeth, travel needs, environmental choices. There were wooden brushes now, biodegradable ones, made to leave no trace. Some people returned to simplicity, manual, basic, unplugged, and still, Others embrace technology, smart toothbrushes, connected to apps, able to show where you missed, how long you brushed, how hard you pressed. A quiet routine, suddenly filled with data. And yet, through all these choices, all these designs, the purpose remained the same: to stand beside you, twice a day, to hold the rhythm of your mornings, to slow the pace of your nights, to remind you, with its familiar weight in your hand, that even the smallest acts can hold care. That 2 minutes can be sacred, can be soft, can be yours. The toothbrush is not loud. It is not glamorous. It does not shine in the spotlight, but it is one of the few objects that knows you completely. The way you hold it, the way you move it, the way it sits beside your sink, waiting, day after day. And while the world moves fast, the toothbrush stays the same. Simple, still, steady. So let your thoughts slow with it now. Let your breath deepen. Let the quiet wrap around you. In the final part of this story, we will reflect on what the toothbrush truly is. Not just a tool for teeth, but a quiet witness to life, to time, to care. For now, you are doing just enough. You are letting go, and the toothbrush is resting too. There are few objects in your life that stay with you through everything, through childhood, through change, through silence. The toothbrush is one of them. It may not seem important. It may not look impressive, but it knows your routines. It has been there, on the good days and the hard ones, twice a day, every day, softly, faithfully. It has no screen, no voice, no blinking light, and yet it does something few things do. It reminds you to care, to pause, to tend to yourself, to keep something clean and whole and cared for. It is not loud about it. It does not ask to be noticed. It waits quietly, usually beside the sink, ready for its moment. And that moment is always small, but powerful, because in those few minutes, you are not scrolling, you are not rushing, you are not trying to be anywhere else. You are just there, with a quiet tool in your hand, brushing away the day, or preparing for the one ahead. Some people brush to focus, some to relax, some to feel fresh before sleep. And while styles may change and materials may improve, the purpose remains: to bring you back to yourself, to the body, to a gentle rhythm that says, I am here, and I am worth caring for. And so now, as your body softens and your thoughts grow quiet, think of that small brush, the one that sits patiently, always ready, never demanding. The toothbrush does not travel far, but it sees everything. It knows you in the morning. It knows you at night. It has no words, but it is always part of your story. And tonight, it helped tell one too. Let this be the end of the story, of the day, of all your thoughts for now. Close your eyes, loosen your jaw, feel the quiet settle in your chest. You are safe, you are enough, and the story is complete. Good night, and sleep well. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel for more sleeping pills like this.